And then after that, you worked with another artist called Paramore, and you worked with their breakthrough album, which had hits like Misery Business, that probably the song that they're most famous for. So what happens is this band started out as an indie band on an indie label. Then you record their first major label album.
It was the second one.
Okay. So they blow up. I mean, Hayley becomes, the new female frontman hero, and you're a part of it. You guided it. And let me ask you this. Why didn't you do the second album? Or I'm sorry, why didn't you do the follow-up album?
Good. I mean, everybody asked me this question. I'm sure there's a lot of different comments about it, but I'll just give you the short and long of it. There was a lot of broken bridges. The first one was basically when I'd finished RIOT, I handed it into the label, and they, meaning Lyor Cohen, who was the president of Warner's Worldwide, didn't think there was a hit. Didn't hear anything on there. He says, you know what, we're gonna get Chad Kroeger to write from Nickelback, Hayley, a hit.
So let me ask you this, David. When people say, I don't think it's a hit, do they really know, or is it really a guess?
This was his opinion. And you got to remember, they just signed Nickelback. So he really wanted to probably impress them by going, hey, I've got an opportunity for you. You can write for this new band, Paramore. And when I told the band that was what was happening, they went nuts, as you can imagine, because we worked for 4 or 5 months on RIOT.
Okay.
And they were teenagers. I mean, you can imagine the outburst that they had of putting everything in their lives into this record. And I got back to the label and said, look, no offense, but I'm not doing it. And he flipped out at me.
Who's he? Who's he?
Lyor Cohen, the president of the label.
Lyor Cohen.
You don't have control of this band. You do what we tell you to do.
So Lyor Cohen, just so people know, Lyor Cohen at that point, when you were working on the album, was the president for Warner, and now he head up like a YouTube division right now, music division.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, okay. It gets even worse than this. You ready?
Sure.
Here we go. The truth.
Sure.
Lyor Cohen signed me to my first deal at the age of 22 as the A&R guy for his own label, Sidewalk Records, through EMI. So I had a relationship with him when I was practically a teenager. He knew exactly who I was.
Okay, so you delivered this album and he hated it, but the band...
No, he didn't hate it. He didn't think there was a hit.
Okay, and the band agreed with you. The band was like, listen, we agree with you, David. We love this album. We poured our hearts into this album. So what happened there?
So the manager was with us, of course, and the A&R guy to a certain degree was pretty well with us. And, Fueled by Ramen were the ones that kind of said, let it go. Let it go. Lyor was upset with me. And at the same time, at that point, I had Q Prime managing me, which was Cliff Bernstein and Peter Mensch.
When they said let it go, what do you mean, like let it go?
Let the record come out, stop forcing the band.
Okay, got it.
So within the next 6 months, Lyor Cohen hired Rob Cavallo as the president of Warner Brothers. Mm-hmm. And then who had produced Green Day, a bunch of different records. And he got him to work on Decode, which was the soundtrack for that movie. I can't remember the name of it, but it was huge at the time.
Twilight.
So not only did he make him the president of his label, he also gave him the next Paramore record to do.
Okay. So it was a gift. It was a treat. It was a, welcome aboard. Here's a buffet. Here's some M&Ms.
And the band were, whatever they were, 18, 19 at this point. They're not going to go against what all these people are telling them. Like there was politics now. And, look, how do I feel about it? I think they got the right guy to do the next record. I know that sounds weird, but I could never have made that record. So I'm glad that somebody else did it. So
let me ask you this, What about like the team that worked with the band? Didn't like, what about like, the didn't they have a say?
Well, no. Well, here's why. Because Hayley was the only one signed to the deal. They were sidemen.
You know what's crazy about, listen, I mean, what's crazy about the entertainment business is like all other businesses, when things are moving in the right direction, they don't really shuffle the chairs. It's like a football team or a baseball team. Yeah. Like changing a producer and a team that made the first round success is like, guess what? We won the Super Bowl, guys. Let's fire everybody and create a whole new team. Like that is crazy.
Look, I was always trouble in the music business because I spent 18 years working for labels. 18 years. And before that, I was signed to EMI as an artist and RCA as an artist. So I knew where the bodies were buried. When I was dealing with managers and labels and A&R people, I could tell you what was going to happen a year before it happened because I did the job. I knew where everything was buried. I knew whether a record was going to get worked or not. The early signs. I've been in 1,000 marketing meetings, promotion meetings, sales meetings. So it never surprised me because when somebody new came in, they had to take credit, Dean. You've got to understand. They had to sort of say, well, this is why I'm in my job because I did this. Mm-hmm. And if that meant dismantling, for me, it was always like taking the New York Yankees franchise and making it the Cleveland Indians. I could never understand it, but I guess if you could say, hey, I built the Cleveland Indians, then great. But that's what happened in a lot of cases, just so people could say, hey, I'm earning my money. I'm doing something creative, whatever it was.
Right. I get it. It's just a lot of politics.